Hey guys, what's up? Welcome to the channel. My name's Jared. Today we're going to be doing some work on the Skyline. I've got some new tail lights to install on the car, as well as some new rear seats as well. So what I've got here are some Series 2 tail lights for the V35 Skyline. From what I'm told, these should plug directly into the original harness. The only difference being this plug here, which is connected to the switch there for the release. So I'm not sure how I'm going to wire this in because I don't want to give it constant power. Then people can press the button and release it whenever they want. And at the same time, I don't want to just hook it to accessory because then you would have to have the key in the ignition to open it. But I think what we need to do is run a wire to the trunk release button under the dash in order to get this to work. These did come off another car from a wrecker, so they are dirty, and I think they might have some overspray on it. This one here had some black paint on the bottom, and there's also some scratches around this, so then I'm just going to clean it up, but I might have to wet sand and repolish this just to clean it up. The rear seats on the Series 2 are also different to the Series 1 slightly. So the premium model still came with leather seats, but the insert is actually like a suede material, as you can see here, rather than the leather. The main reason I picked this up is that the top here is not cracked and split. Mine, the stitching has pulled out because of the leather drying on the top. But I also like the design with the suede in the middle as well. It looks a little bit more modern. And here you can obviously see they're quite dirty because the car that they came out of the window was left down. And after I picked them up, I realized that there's a cigarette burn right in the middle of the seat here. But they still look a hell of a lot better than the ones I have with the top of it, the stitching all worn. I think these just need quite a bit of work with cleaning to get them back to looking good enough to put in the car. So I got them all sanded down now. I ended up having to go back with 1500 and then finish with 2000. Just because there was a little bit more, I don't know if it was overspray or residue from maybe them being tinted. But yeah, I had to go with 1500 and then back with 2000. As you can see here, there's some blackness on the sides here, just under the seam there. So I'm just going to get my steam gun and I'm just going to steam under there and see whether I can get some of the blackness out. Next I'm going to use this headlight cleaner and sealant. I've really had some good results with this, and cars that have sat in the sun pretty much for a whole year, the light still stays in pretty good condition. And I'll just use this little headlight polisher that goes on a drill to clean these up. Just want to make a note here that you shouldn't normally wet suede, because when it dries, the fibers in the material can set solid. So if you do this, you need to dry it very quickly and continue to agitate the fibers so they don't get stuck down. Next I'm going to go with some of this on a cloth and clean up the leather on the outside. The top bit come up really good, it's looking really nice. The bottom bit looks better, but I need to see when it dries how good it is going to be. Once you're done with the cleaning, I just went over with this hydrating cream, specifically on the top here where it's in the direct sunlight, just to prolong its life as long as possible before the stitching here starts to split as well. But I just did the whole top piece and I decided to do the bottom piece as well. As you can see here, this is what the original Series 1 tail lights look like from the back. So just to remove it, I'm going to go ahead in here and pop up this black back plastic panel here. Next we're going to pull out the back panel underneath that, and you can see there's a clip here at the moment that's going to need to come out, and another clip here, and also these tie downs here, and then this panel can come out. So you have one here, and one here. Next we just got the grommet. Now we can see the first series and second series side by side. You can see on my one here that the plastic has actually started to fade in the sun, and there's actually some cracking appearing in the lens as it's gotten older. And the first difference is these lenses are completely smooth. These other lenses here, you can see there's a contour into a circular piece, and that is for the indicator and brake light. The next difference is this part here has a reflector, where this style has individual LEDs, which I think actually this bit looks cooler than this one. The next difference is the passenger side actually has a button here for the boot release, where this was not present on the first gen. And then here you can see you got the circular reverse light compared to the angular one on Series 2, which is a bit more aggressive. The reinstallation is exactly the same, as we've got the same 3 posts here for mounting and the same plug, except we've got the extra one here for the boot release, but we've got the same grommet here, so it's pretty much a plug and play. Easier to see the difference here now that the light is on. Yeah, this side definitely looks a lot more aggressive than this side. The original lights do look really good, but this does look better. To remove the back seat, just go ahead and pull the lever here and pop the seat down. And when you fold back this cover, you'll be able to see a bracket here with I think it's a 12 or 14 mil bolt holding on the hinge for the top part of the back seat, and the same for the other side as well. And here, if you didn't know, there's also a lever here to release the back seat in case the boot pop doesn't work. Now once you've got those hinges off, you'll be able to just push the seat down and push the hinge back like this. And then next we've got the cable here for the back seat release. So you just want to lift up the back part of this seat. Just pull that up and push that out. Now you can see this is the main reason why I'm switching this seat out, because of the leather cracking on the top of the seat. So Nissan made this whole seat out of this same leather, whereas on the new seat you have more of like a thick leather here, and on the top here it's softer, as you can see, compared to this. And this one has not broken on the stitching there on the top. Then apart from that, in the Series 2 they went to the suede insert, where this whole seat is just the perforated leather in the middle. The back seat doesn't require any bolts, it just pulls up. The back seats don't vary a lot, as you can see here. They both have the same center cubby with the drink holders on both, and both of them have this pull-up tab, the same. Then again, the main difference is the suede insert in the middle with the leather outside, and this one has that perforated leather with just the normal leather here, which matches these two seats. I just noticed you can even see that the foam has like been damaged by the sun, and this is like hard. Unfortunately, this seat did have a cigarette burn in it. It's the back seat now swapped out. It's definitely much easier to do it standing here on the passenger side, leaning over the top with it folded down, than it is through the boot. So just finished up the wiring for the boot release here, or trunk release, and I think I've worked out a really simple way that most of you guys can do, compared to the online method, which I've seen people use relays and like 8 different wires. So what I've done is, this is the plug off the tail light. From the wreckers, they were nice enough to give me the actual other end of the plug, but it doesn't matter, you don't necessarily need that plug. So you're going to come down here to the tail light wiring here, and on the left hand side there's a solid green wire, and that one is for our indicator. So what we're going to use is the indicator power, because when you unlock the car the indicator flashes a couple times, and we're going to use that flash as the power source for the boot release. So that way it only works, as you can see here, when it is flashing. So just as you unlock the car, which is ideally what you want. Come up to the car, unlock it, pop the trunk, and then get into it. So you're going to intercept that green wire, and I added a little terminal, and as you can see here, the blue wire coming off to one side of the switch. It doesn't matter which side of the switch, it just needs to be connected to one of the 2 wires. And when we make the press on the button, that power is going to go through the switch into this green wire, which is the other side of it. And then I've just extended it here with this red wire, which goes under the spare tire here, comes under the back seat, and then under the kick panel or kick trim panel here, and then pops up. And then what you have here is the plug, which goes into here, that you would normally use to pop the boot or trunk. And as you can see there's a blue and a green wire. You need to connect it to the green wire. If you do connect it to the blue wire, it will pop the trunk, but every time the indicator goes, even when you're turning, it's going to keep popping the trunk. So you need to put it on the green side here, so you can strip back a little bit, you can cut it, twist it, solder it or crimp it in there onto that side, and then you don't even need this plugged in, but you plug it in and then it should still also work like normal. So as you can see now, I press the button, nothing happens, and when you unlock the car you can see it flash and the boot didn't pop obviously. So if I hold it in and I press the lock button, you can see that it actually popped. So the only caveat to this is because the power flicks on and off, you just need to hold your finger on the button and then press the unlock while you're holding it. So you time it obviously with one of the flashes and then you can open your boot. Alright guys, that wraps up another video. Really happy with how the tail lights turned out and the back seat. Really surprised how well they cleaned up, and actually I'm quite surprised how well the boot lock release works considering the wiring with the tail light. I thought I was going to have to do a lot more difficult wiring with relays to get it to work, but I think it's quite simple and effective. If this video was helpful for you, please give it a thumbs up and give it a like and some comments below. That really helps with the algorithm, and hopefully I'll see you in the next video. Cheers.